On February 13th, Tim Cook went on X and posted saying, "Get ready to meet the newest member of the family, Wednesday, February 19th. And, well, that time has come, and now we know that they announced the newest iPhone, the iPhone 16e. This is Apple's newest budget phone, which they haven't released a new budget phone since 2022 with the Gen 3 iPhone SE. And honestly, this is a pretty big update. So here's everything we got. On the outside, we get a Super Retina XDR OLED display at 60Hz, and it looks a lot like the screens on the iPhone 14. And it has the same ceramic shield layer like on the iPhone 14s to help make it a little bit more shadow resistant. Then there's an aluminum body on the sides with the sleep button on the right and the volume buttons on the left, but there's a new action button in place for the silent switch. The back of the phone is made of glass with only one camera, which we don't really see much these days, but we'll talk about the camera a little later. This phone comes in two different colors, a black and a white, which are pretty much the most basic colors ever, but I mean, it still looks pretty good. Inside the phone, we get an A18 chip just like on the 16 and 16 Plus, but it is a little bit downgraded with only a 4-core GPU unlike the 5-core GPU that's on the 16s. One thing inside this iPhone that's actually a really big upgrade is Apple's new Apple C1 chip, which is their first ever 5G modem made in-house. According to Apple, this actually makes the new iPhone much more efficient, giving up to 26 hours of battery life, unlike the 22 on the regular 16s. Speaking of battery life, let's talk about charging, because this one does have USB-C, but Apple's actually being forced to use USB-C on all their smartphones because in the EU, it's actually a law that all smartphones have to use USB-C, which is a win. But this phone doesn't actually have MagSafe, which is a huge loss in my opinion. To me, this is a pretty big deal because every night I just set my phone right on the circle charger that I have in my room. And since my phone has MagSafe, it actually guides the phone right onto the charger and sticks right to it. But with the super slow 7.5 watt wireless charger that doesn't have MagSafe, you're gonna be stuck sitting there trying to find the perfect placement on your wireless charger to get it to start charging. Then you have to really hope that it doesn't slide around at night and stop charging while you're asleep. Every other iPhone 16 model has MagSafe, which charges at 25 watts, which is almost 4 times faster than the 7.5 watt charger we get on this iPhone 16e. On the front of this iPhone, we get the same 12 megapixel front-facing camera that we have on all iPhone 16s. And we also get Face ID for the first time on the budget phone. Then on the back, there's what Apple calls a 2-in-1 camera system. This means most of the time you're gonna take super high quality 48 megapixel photos, but now you have the option for a 2x zoom, which will crop the photo down to 24 megapixels. This creates a zoom effect, but really you're not really zooming, you're just cropping the photo down to make it look like you zoomed, which isn't anything new. This is actually in all the iPhone 16s. With this camera, you also get night mode to help with low light conditions, portrait mode, which will help the subject stand out a little, and photographic styles, which will put a filter on your photos to help match your vibe a little. As far as video goes, you'll be able to shoot 4K Dolby Vision video at 60 frames per second, or you can shoot at 1080, which is slightly lower resolution, but this gives you the ability to shoot at 120 or 240 frames per second for super smooth slow motion shots. So you don't get things like cinematic mode, action mode, or spatial video, which I guess most people probably don't even use. Going back to the side of the phone, we now have an action button in place with the silent switch, which was first released on the iPhone 15 Pros. This is a button that by default acts as a silent switch, but now you can go in and customize it to do anything you want. When I say anything, I actually mean anything. I have the action button on my phone, lock all the doors at my home. I used the Shortcuts app and went in and made a quick shortcut to lock all my doors whenever the shortcut's activated. Then in settings, I went to the action button settings and found shortcuts. Then I selected my shortcut, and now whenever I'm nervous that my doors aren't locked, I just have to press my action button and it will make sure all my doors are locked. On the iPhone 16e, you can actually go in and map this to visual intelligence, which is probably what I would recommend. Since the 16e doesn't have the camera control that we got on all the other 16 models, they gave us the ability to get to visual intelligence another way. Visual intelligence is pretty simple. All you have to do is activate visual intelligence and then you take a picture of something, and then you have two options. You can either send the picture to Google and see what comes up, or send the picture to ChatGPT and ask it any questions you have. It's actually become pretty useful to me, and I think Apple's going to keep making it better, so I'm pretty excited for what it does in the future. Speaking of ChatGPT, Apple's actually been working with them for the last few months now and actually integrated it into their very own Apple Intelligence, which this iPhone actually has. Apple Intelligence is what Apple's hoping will be the next big thing for Apple. It gives you the ability to create your own emojis, fix your writing, and hopefully soon upgrades to Siri. With Apple Intelligence, we were promised a huge update to Siri, giving us the ability to do things like asking it who we went to dinner with 3 days ago, or when my mom's flight lands tomorrow. And it'll be able to search through your phone and actually find those, but we haven't seen that yet. The iPhone 16e has a couple other really cool Apple Intelligence features like Image Playground, which lets you go in and describe pretty much anything you want, and it should make it, but it is a beta, so it does kind of struggle a little bit. Then in the emoji section of your keyboard, you can actually click this button up top to add an emoji, and Apple Intelligence will actually add whatever emoji you describe. I could see how this could be kind of fun, but I think most people are just fine with the regular emojis. I think most Apple Intelligence features are sort of a gimmick, except for one really big one in the Photos app that's really cool. Really quickly, let's take a picture of my HomePod. Pretend I left to go somewhere and I can't retake the picture, but I want this piece of trash out of the picture. Well, now, if I actually go in and edit the photo, there's a new section that will actually let me circle whatever object I want out of the photo, and it'll erase the photo for me. People have been testing these kind of features on all sorts of smartphones, and honestly, I think the iPhone kind of does it worse than any other smartphone, but it gets the job done most of the time. These last two features that I'm going to share with you are pretty useless until they're not, which it's going to make sense in a second, just hear me out. The first one is water and dust resistance. The 16E is IP68 water resistant, just like the rest of the iPhone 16 lineup, which means you can actually go down 6 meters for up to 30 minutes, and Apple says you should be okay. Then the last one is all the emergency features. This iPhone gets all the emergency features like satellite messaging, crash detection, and emergency SOS via satellite. This phone has the ability to connect to a satellite, so you can text people back at home that are connected to the internet, or even more important, you can contact emergency services and let them know where you are and what your issue is. There is crash detection, which uses sensors in your iPhone to detect if you're in an accident, and then it'll automatically contact emergency services and let them know that there was an accident. It's going to start a little countdown once the phone actually detects a crash, and then it'll contact emergency services. This is really cool, and there's actually been a lot of stories of this actually helping people in a car crash, but there's also been stories of this going off while people are on roller coasters. Of course, those roller coaster problems were happening right at the beginning, and Apple worked really quickly to fix that. Starting at $599, I think this is actually a pretty good phone. It's $200 less than the iPhone 16, and it's not missing many features from it. So I think if you want a long-lasting phone that'll send texts and make phone calls, this is the one for you. Thanks for watching.